Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we are just going to share a little bit about recipes that I've found and enjoy, and talk about just some food prep techniques and some ingredient swaps that I found very helpful for myself, and hopefully give you guys some ideas for your own as well. And please do comment links to any recipes that you guys like and enjoy, just to share with everybody. Much appreciated. So let's go ahead and dive right in. For me, I am not a huge cooking fan. I don't really like spending a lot of time in the kitchen, so I like to have my prep time, like chopping up the vegetables and doing all of that stuff, to be less than a half an hour. Not always possible depending on what thing you are making. So if I'm making like a chili or a curry that has a lot of like the diced onions and diced peppers and stuff like that, if I'm have the energy for it, then I will do the fresh veggies, because fresh is always best in my opinion, just flavor wise and everything like that. But if I'm really not feeling it, just don't have the energy, but I do want to cook a meal like that, then I will go ahead and pay the convenience tax and get the pre-diced items. Or the other thing that's been an absolute lifesaver for me is getting the frozen vegetables. There's Bird's Eye has a really good medley. It's got the 3 different peppers and onions, so it's really easy to just pop that open. You can either steam it, you can fry it, you can bake it, whatever, like basically whatever you're doing. And they're really good size, very flavorful, super easy to use. So stuff like that, that I use when I can, just so that I'm still getting that variety of flavors and textures, but not spending a ton of time in the kitchen prepping, because I like to do other things with my time. For those of you that like cooking though, you know, whatever works best for everybody. So, one of the other things, especially with looking at vegetarian recipes, is a lot of things will use mushrooms very heavily because it's a good meat substitute. I absolutely do not do mushrooms. Like, I really don't like the texture. Not a huge fan of the flavor, so they just don't work well for me. So what I tend to do, one of the best pieces of advice that I had been given was, like, when you're working off of a recipe, if you're taking something out, then you need to put something else back in. Ideally something that's going to be able to provide a similar flavor or texture profile or both. Obviously not always possible, so for me, my go-to has been to do like chickpeas for mushrooms. For like if a recipe calls for like chicken or even sausage, I'll use chickpeas because they're very versatile. You know, either the whole chickpeas, or they're really easy to mash up. And they've got really good texture that's really easy to cook with, and takes seasonings really well. So that's been a big lifesaver for me. Beans in general, especially for like my meat substitutes, my favorites, chickpeas are probably my number one, followed closely by like black beans and pinto beans and kidney beans are kind of like my 4 main beans. But also lentils are awesome and super versatile and super tasty, very nutritious, all of that. Most recently, I actually tried tofu again for the first time in like years, because tofu that I've tried before has been just not prepared in a way that I like. I'm very sensitive to different textures, So there's just certain food combinations and like texture profiles that I just cannot do, like parfaits, for example, oatmeal, like those things. I just, for whatever reason, my mouth just will not accept those, and they make me gag. So those are always out for me. So I always have to try to find alternatives to those types of foods. And tofu was one where it was like very, like when I had tried it previously, it had been like very spongy, and basically it just was not done crispy enough, and it doesn't really have a flavor all on its own, so it just really didn't taste good to me. I found a new recipe for preparing it just as its own, like for a base, where you actually roast it in the oven beforehand, and then you're able to like mix it into like a stir fry or whatever else that you're doing, and that turned out really well, and I actually really enjoyed it. So I'm going to be experimenting a little bit more with tofu, which will also help with my protein, which, as we've talked about plenty of times, has been a struggle for me. So I'll be sharing that in the comments as well, for anyone that's interested in giving that a shot. One of the other things that I did also want to talk about is swapping out just healthier carbs, or like cutting down on my carbs, because I'm a huge, like, noodles, rice, anything carbs, I am completely obsessed. So what I've been trying to do is cutting down on that a little bit, or switching to better carb options. So for noodles, I'll get like the protein enriched noodles, or get like lentil noodles instead of like grain noodles, chickpea noodles, things of that sort. And the other thing that I've been doing is, instead of rice, when I'm making food at home, I will use diced potatoes instead. Potatoes are a really good natural starch. They give that carb, they absorb flavor really well, just like rice does, but you do get some additional nutrients, and especially for me, it does actually give you a little bit more of the protein boost that you need. So those have kind of been some things that I've been doing, is kind of just doing those. So I'll do like a noodle, a rice, or a potato, but not mixing those three, and that helps keep the calories and carbs down. The other thing is, instead of using butter or oil when I can, I'll either use a little bit less of it, or just use the non-stick spray. You're still getting some oil with that, obviously, but you're not getting nearly as many calories as you would if you're using the full amount of oil or butter, or whatever the recipe is calling for. So yeah, that is all I have for today. Just short and sweet for you guys. Hope some of those give some ideas for you guys. If anyone has any other ideas, or simple swaps that they like to use when they're cooking, please feel free to share in the comments. All advice is appreciated, and I'm always looking to try and experiment with new things. Next week we'll do another update, see where my weigh-in is at and how things are going. In the meantime, I hope everyone has a great week, and I will see you all soon.